It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Groovy.
Just dandy.
I'm going to go groovy dandy.
Always the original pick.
Mm-hmm. Hope everybody out there is doing okay. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Man, I think my corner of the galaxy is exploding.
Oh yeah,
Tiny fires
didn't you know
everywhere.
they're gonna come knock down your corner of the galaxy for a new intergalactic bypass?
Right?
That's right.
I mean, why not? They already put SpaceX by my farm, so.
Sure, why not?
No, we're
Space cows. Anyway,
right?
sorry.
and you know, it's a couple of towns over, and you would be surprised the amount of complaints of property rattling and that kind of stuff. I don't know what they're doing, but it's like every day they've got something loud and shaky going on over there. So.
Do you know what
They must-
SpaceX is, right?
Yeah.
They do
yeah.
rockets and shit.
Right, but every day? Every day?
NASA works every day. I mean, come
They're
on.
not shooting rockets off every day, you know.
Not anymore. Not now that they have like $75 in the budget.
Right.
Right.
SpaceX has a little bigger budget than NASA these days.
Yeah. But Marlin's kind of an older town, so I'm curious of the after effects of all of this. After all the shaking and booming goes on, you know, what's going to happen to the shitty roads that are already bad and, you know, these old homes, you know.
A whole lot of shaking going on.
Yeah, there's cows are giving milkshakes now instead of milk.
Let me know when the chocolate cows show up. That's what I'm interested in.
Right. Yeah, then I've ran into some technical issues with my computer. So, you know, I've put together quite a few computers, and I've worked on quite a few, and all of my years of being a nerd, I've never once had a sound card go out on me. That's kind of like the part you put in and just forget about it, you know? But I think that's what's going on with mine. And it sucks because I didn't build this one, so I don't know.
Well, a lot of
what's under the
times,
hood.
a lot of times those are just basically part of the motherboard anymore, I think.
Oh
So
God, I
that
hope
could be
not.
that could be bad. Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
maybe they're not so much anymore. But last time I checked, which was a few years back, mostly sound cards and like the other thing that I can't think of off the top of my head. The one
Graphics card.
Actually, that can depend. The graphics card. I'm thinking of what you used to call a modem.
Yeah.
The internet card.
Yeah.
I don't know what they actually call them anymore. My brain is not working. But yeah, a lot of times those are hardwired onto the motherboard too. And I'm like, well, that because hell, we used to go through those things like candy back in the day.
Yeah.
We'd have to replace the modem constantly, but
See, and this is a gaming computer, so I'm hoping that's kind of something that's not integrated, you know?
you'd hope, because I mean, if anybody's going to be swapping shit out, it's going to be gamers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope
Especially when they keep upgrading. You can use your USB cord for sound or HDMI now and audio cords and So yeah, I'm hoping, but I just haven't wanted to take it apart because I don't want to mess it up. I've always built my own computers, but this is
It's
probably the most expensive computer I've ever owned.
right. It you don't want to change the oil on your Mercedes either, because
Right.
what if something happens and the magic smoke comes out?
Exactly. Or I wind up cutting a belt on accident or,
Mm.
train wreck.
And you want to strip out your bolt that holds in the oil and all that. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Costs
Or
$400
find out
to
the
replace the bolt. That's the problem.
first screw you take out's the only one you're not supposed to.
Right.
So I'll definitely have to do a little bit of research on this, but yeah.
Well, you could probably at least open the cover or something, but
Yeah.
maybe not touch anything after that. I don't know. It might look more familiar. I guess my point is it might look more familiar than you think.
Seen it's see-through on the side, so maybe I should just kind of peek and yeah. I'll have to move Batman around and stuff.
Oh gosh, I don't know if
Get
we
off
I don't know if we
in
can get to all of that. Come on now, that's a lot to ask.
Well, I'm kind of makeshift anyways because it seems like the last 6 months we've been remodeling the house. And I'll tell you now, if you ever want to work on your house, it's easier when you don't live in it than when you do. Because you have to constantly play like Tetris. Can I shove all the living room into the kitchen? So
Not and still eat. No.
right. I'm like climbing over the couch to get baby's milk. But my mistake was I had my grandbaby and her friend, the little girl I used to watch. We decided Friday night we were going to have a girls' night and watch movies and everything else. Well, I had set this up a couple of weeks ago. Well, Phil calls me Friday and he's like, hey, guess what? Guys are going to be there Saturday at 9 to redo the whole living room. And it's like, shit. So now I've got to pack a living room with 2 kids who don't understand why I'm putting all their toys in the kitchen.
Right. They're like bringing them back in and stuff. You're like, oh, no, no, no.
Right.
Worst movers ever.
Right.
Toddlers. What are you going to do with them?
But they were supposed to do our room, and I've kind of halfway packed everything, so my room looks like, God, like chaos. So the way I had to set my computer, I say all of that the way I had to set my computer up, it's like condensed and pushed together so I could get around everything else. So it'll take a lot to get to the tower to even look into it. Yeah, it sucked. I was watching Netflix, and then the next day was Sunday, which is normally when we record, like today, it was Sunday. But I go to fire it up, and it's like, wait a minute. What the hell? This was not like that when I went to bed. So it's kind of weird. If it is the sound card, I don't know why it would just crap. It seems like I should have had some kind of problem with it or something. Or maybe the device manager should have told me it was bad or something,
People like to assume that those things are smart. They're not.
Right. So yeah, that's been my fun, is trying not to chunk it out a window.
You won't get your warranty renewed, that's for sure.
Yeah. See, this was given to me by a friend. Her husband was a real big gamer, and he lost his life. So, yeah. So that's part of the reason I don't know anything about it, other than he was like a Dallas DA. So it's badass computer. So yeah, I'm on my laptop tonight, which is, after working on the other computer, it's slow. It's really slow. And it's not even a year old.
Uh-huh. I know that feeling. My wife's laptop is far inferior to mine, and so I get frustrated anytime I have to use it
Yeah.
because it just takes. I mean, you when you start it up, you basically you have to walk away for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
for it to get
That's-
caught up to itself because it takes so many resources to start Windows 10. I mean, once it's going, it's fine, but man, if you try to do something before it wakes up, it's like a bad teenager.
Yeah.
And you go in there, you kick their door in, you go, come on, you got to get up, and they're like,
But I don't want to get up.
And her computer is just like that.
Then it takes you to where you put your password in, which takes another 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, don't type your password in too fast. That doesn't work either.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve.
Mm. It's always exciting to figure that out like 10 minutes before you need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't think to check that kind of stuff,
Oh,
you know?
right. Why would you? It worked fine last time.
Yep. Just a couple hours before, the day before, you know? And then you're wondering what kind of funky update or... If my computer's working fine, why do I need to update it?
Because apparently it could be better. It's because, and I mean, the deal is that there's just so many complicated little things going on inside there
Yeah.
that they have to fiddle with. This is not an excuse. I have no idea, really, but
Made sense, though.
I'm good at short-term bullshit.
Yeah, that's my excitement, pretty much. Nothing.
Well, okay then. That wasn't bad for 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, I didn't want to get too, like, doom. I had more.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna rock that boat anymore, that's for sure.
Right. You guys have heard most of it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, come join our Discord. Anyway.
Yeah. And then you won't miss it.
Yay. All right.
Is that a selling point?
Yeah, sure.
The life of Liz.
We'll go with that as the Liz turns.
Very slowly.
I don't know. Gonna leave that one alone too.
Yeah. Probably a good thing.
So, gosh, I am so boring. I do the same stuff all the time. And that's all I mean by I'm boring. I do the same stuff all the time. So I try to watch at least something different every week, just so I have something to BS about here in this segment. This past week I watched a documentary because I like documentaries. They're fun. And nothing else I watch is worth mentioning, generally speaking. But the documentary is called Summer '82, When Zappa Came to Sicily. You can find this on Prime or Tubi, I think. But it came out, it was made in 2013. And it's actually, it's hard to explain it without spoiling some stuff. And the stuff is definitely worth watching for. This is only like an hour and a half thing, and it was made by a guy from Sicily. Then the deal was that at the end of that tour, the last date on Frank Zappa's tour was in Palermo, and without getting too spoilery, because it's a really interesting. That part of the documentary is a really interesting story. The concert did not go particularly well, but it is worth checking out just for that. There's like 3 or 4 threads of story in this documentary, and it was a little jarring at times moving back and forth between them because they don't really line up all that well. There was the director was, I mean, part of what spurred him along was that concert. He, like I said, he's from there. That concert was an interesting point in his life. We'll put it that way, because again, there's spoilery stuff there, and also another part of it was current times, which was like 2012, 2013. Members of Frank Zappa's family went to Palermo and to the town that Zappa's family came from originally in Italy, which is down the highway from Palermo, and kind of got to meet people and hang out and look back into their own family history, which was really interesting. So it's an interesting watch. Again, the transitions are a little jumpy. It's not the smoothest thing, given that it's telling multiple stories that don't really connect all that well necessarily. But there's a lot of I learned a lot of cool stuff in there about Zappa and about his family, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
That's cool.
That is cool. For me, I was looking on the Discord page, and I saw the article posted about DC Comics and the NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And it intrigued me, but I was trying to figure out, what the hell am I going to buy? What do I pay to get the NFTs?
Is it like a digital copy or something?
My understanding, it's somewhat like a Bitcoin.
Yes.
So
I've heard someone explain it. It's like a digital trading card.
So it's nothing you can hold.
No, it's nothing. Yeah, it's not anything you can actually hold. I don't understand the whole thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Les. Go ahead.
no, that's fine. Please go ahead.
I think he's hoping you'll explain it to him.
Yeah, you can explain it to me, Les. That'd be great.
No, I mean,
ready.
he's
Go
hoping
ahead.
you would.
No, please go ahead.
No, that's about as much as
Oh,
I've seen some creators that are not exactly excited about this news, but I just don't understand the whole concept. So
I don't either. If I'm going to pay a lot of money for something, especially a piece of art, I want to hold it. I mean, I want to.
Says the person who dabbles in digital art. I mean,
Yeah, but that's different.
right. You have different standards for these two things.
Yeah,
That's my
I'm not
point.
selling
Yeah.
my stuff for thousands of dollars. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of it like that, but
Just because it's digital doesn't make it any less real. It just makes it less physical.
yeah.
And yes, you have many times stated your preference for physical media, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't discount that, because see, what I don't quite understand is, I mean, clearly there's something being exchanged, and I'm a little fuzzy on what's being exchanged here, but I also legitimately do not care. So
See, and they're saying, I'm taking it, it's kind of like, I mean, if nothing else, maybe like a flash drive that they send you, because there's got to be something important about the copy that they're selling you. Now they're saying you can make prints off of it and all that other kind of stuff, but you can't sell it. Maybe I've heard that wrong, but to me that was kind of the drawback of then how if I buy a comic book, let's say, for $50, That's an expensive comic book. I'm hoping later that it's still not going to be worth $50, because it's one of a kind. We'll say 1010 clamshelled, Hopefully it rises, but how can it if it's non-tradable, I guess, or I don't know.
Or if it's
Like I said,
ultimately not unique, and you could go buy, because that's the deal, is if it's digital, it can be duplicated. And unless they've finally found a way around that, maybe that's
Yeah.
the deal? I don't know. But if they finally managed to create unique digital art somehow, but by some sort of lockdown or um, encoding or something, I don't know. That would be interesting, but I haven't looked
To me,
into
it
it
would
enough.
almost have to, just for, authenticity. I'm not going to pay you $20,000 for a Doobie song if it's not authentic. So how can you prove to me that it is? There'd have
Right.
to be some kind of digital watermark or
You're not going to hand over real money to buy basically monopoly money that anybody could print.
right
That
or
would be
scam you on.
that would be stupid. That would be a
Yep.
scam, basically. Yeah.
So it seems like you'd get some kind of certificate or something,
Mm-hmm. I
letting you
hope.
know it's legit and.
Well, my understanding with the listing on Wikipedia, you would have a proof of authenticity for the ownership of the digital art. So I would say that if they send you a flash drive of your art, there's going to be a proof inside that flash drive also.
Yeah, that would make sense. And make it like password protected or something.
Right. And my understanding is this is a digital market that does not run with Bitcoin or other systems. So a Bitcoin is not transferable. A NFT is not transferable to Bitcoin, that type of thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So
Yeah.
this is somebody trying basically to create their own electronic currency?
It sounds like.
Interesting.
It says one of the earliest NFT projects was a 2017 project called CryptoPunks by Larva Labs. So 4 years ago this started, and I don't know that it's taken off, especially like Bitcoin did,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you exactly what's going to be.
Well, it seems like it would, since there's an actual product, kind of,
Yeah.
and kind of a collectible kind of thing, or, huh. I mean, I guess it would definitely be for the unique one-off collector, of knowing
Could.
you have the only one.
Maybe.
That's cool.
Depends on what the ultimate purpose is, but
Yeah.
not sure how clear that is.
So that's what I'd been looking at.
That was your internet rabbit hole for the week.
And
It's not a good little rabbit hole.
Interesting. For sure.
Well, for me, more or less some of the stuff I've been saying the previous few weeks, working on stuff for Discord and for the podcast. I'd actually got the first volume of the Conan the Barbarian Epic Collection, the original Marvel years. My copy came in, and I had started reading that because I didn't really read fantasy comics when I was younger, especially at the time these particular issues were coming out. I was basically doing superheroes and sci-fi, and even if sci-fi, it was the licensed stuff like Star Wars, Star Trek, that kind of thing. So I kind of missed out on books like this, and it was kind of fun to kind of go back and reading these, because some of these stories are based off of oh god, I'm blanking. Robert E. Howard.
Howard.
Yeah, some of his stories. They were the comics were written by Roy Thomas, and the art was by Barry Windsor Smith. And it kind of throws me looking at these, because what issues of Conan I have read over the years, he's really built. And not that he's not with Barry Windsor Smith, but there's still kind of a slender. He's built, but he's very slender, where he's not as muscular as he kind of changes over time. It's kind of interesting, kind of going back and seeing that version of Conan. So
it's interesting. The pre-Schwarzenegger Conan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not actually a bodybuilder.
Right.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy who, he's in good shape, not a bodybuilder, obviously able to fight with a sword and all that. So yeah, it's been kind of a fun read.
Cool.
That is cool.
Yep, it is.
And since we kind of mentioned Discord, we do have one. It's been going up for almost a year. Be a year in May. It's open to everybody. You can find an invite on our front page of the website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. And on our Discord, we'll post news items. We'll post some funny stuff. We post stuff for just conversations, music, that kind of thing. We have monthly activities that are exclusively to the Discord. We do have meetups. So where we just all get on there onto one of the voice channels and kind of just talk about what's going on, hang out, what's going on in your life, what's going on in the world of pop culture and all that. So it's been fun, and you're more than welcome to come join us. Sign up is free. Just sign up to Discord is free. The app is free. So if you're kind of thinking about it, just go ahead and jump on in. It's been a blast.
If you're dying to know about Liz's drama of the week.
Oh yeah, especially that.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah, I got fresh tea.
Oh man, she's ready to go all night. Jeez.
All right. For this week's conversation, we were originally have this back in January, but between
between stuff and things, it's got pushed to now. So yeah, that's basically the best way to say it. This year marks the 45th anniversary of what's actually the second co-publishing project between DC and Marvel, but it's the first superhero intercompany crossover officially. And I am talking about Superman versus Amazing Spider-Man, and this was actually issued in tabloid format. Was written by written by Jerry Conway, with Ross Andrew doing the majority of the art. And I did not realize this, but some of the material in here was actually drawn by Neil Adams and John Romita Sr. But this is a really, really cool story, and it's kind of hard to believe that this would ever happen. And like I said, this is the second co-publishing effort. The first one is they did the adaptation of Wizard of Oz. That was also a Treasury side project, and that one I have that one. It's beautiful. So for today's discussion, we were going to talk about this project. And with that, I'm going to step up
away from the mic and let someone else discuss as it gets quiet.
Yeah, well, we're taking turns sanitizing the mic.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
We don't.
Wow.
We don't all have the same mic. We're miles apart from each other.
More than 6 feet.
Way more in some cases.
Oh, man. This one was cool. Yeah, I liked it for the most part. Although, okay, it started off when Lois Lane and MJ got kidnapped, right? And Spider-Man thought Superman had did it. I don't know how Superman thought Spider-Man had did it, but okay. They both thought each other did it. And then it goes through the whole comic and everything else, but it never shows you them rescuing the girls.
That's secondary.
But that was the whole point.
Well, didn't the villains leave clues as to the other doing the kidnap?
Yeah, I think Lex Luthor dressed up as Superman. But I don't recall the Spider-Man link. I know Spider-Man came at him, and I don't know, maybe Superman thought that he was involved because he came at him after the girls were taken. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it was kind of neat. They meet in prison, Doc Ock and Lex Luthor, and they're like, hey, enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they switch enemies. Well, there was kind of. Right?
I was say Doc
Did
Ock
we
got
read
the
the same
short end
story?
of that stick. Jeez.
Yeah. He got Superman. Yeah, but it was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of the Batman Superman first meeting, where they're like, "Hey, you're the bad guy," and they're like, "No, you're the bad guy," and then it's like, you know what? Let's be friends and work together. It's kind of what happened here.
I
Yeah,
wonder why
it
that's
was
the case. Jeez.
yeah, it was a pretty good story. I like the way it was told. They did Superman first, and then Spider-Man, and then the last 2 chapters were both of them together. So that was pretty cool.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh.
Aww. Now, did Marvel and DC do this often, or I know this was the first.
They did a few times. There was
I remember the
actually
angiograms. Wasn't that what it was called?
the amalgam.
Is that where they blended the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amalgam universe. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there was actually a follow up to this. There was a sequel to this, and then there was a Incredible Hulk versus Batman,
Oh.
and then there was X-Men and the New Teen Titans.
Huh. I'll have to check those out too. I don't think other than the mix-up ones, I don't think I've ever read these. I didn't read this one until last week.
Mm.
Or
And
week
there was
before.
there was a few others after that too, because there was actually, I'm trying to remember right now. I know there was 2 different versions of Batman and versus Punisher, because one of them actually did the Azrael version of Batman. There was the Superman and the Fantastic Four. So they did several of these. I think there was a Green Lantern and Silver Surfer. So they did them over the years until I guess they just decided not to do them.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't their last one Access?
yeah,
Where
that
they-
was part of
where they
that was
fought each other.
yeah that was part of the whole DC versus Marvel. And then there was Access, and then that in between that was the whole amalgam thing.
Yeah.
And then they did a follow up to the amalgam, and then that's been pretty much it.
So I like when comics do this. You had the whole turtle, and Batman, and Boom is really good about doing that. Is it Boom? Yeah.
I think it's Dynamite.
Is it Dynamite?
Yeah.
There's been a little bit of Dynamite's the one that's been doing a lot more the last few years, but there's been some. I mean, Boom did the whole Green Lantern. Was a Green Lantern in Planet.
Oh, the Planet of the Apes thing.
Planet of the Apes thing, yeah. And then there was IDW that did the whole Star Trek Legion of Superheroes, that kind of stuff. But between Marvel and DC, there hadn't been anything like that for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
At least 20 years, maybe 25.
See, and I don't think the I don't want to say lesser, but not the big two, I don't think they're scared to share properties with each other.
I just don't think they want to do it, But,
yeah.
But
it kind of introduces two different fan bases to this is what's good on our side and here's what's good on your side. If you're wanting to say sides, but it does kind of open it up to where you're meeting maybe a new character you wouldn't have thought of before, or I could see it pulling in readers is what I'm saying is maybe it's not their guy, but the other one is,
And you mentioned the whole Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's one right there in front of them that's so obvious that they hadn't done it. That's Daredevil Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Because of the reference to the very first issue. It was the same. It was this. If I'm not mistaken, it was the same stuff that blinded Bat Murdoch that mutated them. Wasn't that right, Les?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they hinted. Did they outright state it, or did they just hint at it really strongly?
I'm pretty sure they hinted at it strongly.
Yeah, they made mention, or they showed the seepage of the fluid into the drains and touched the turtles. And that's how they became superior.
That's cool. And they both run around Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
It's also fun how that plays on the legends of reptiles living in the sewers in New York City. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
So your thoughts, Les?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was I'm not going to say monumental, but it was nice to see them get along for a while to do this. If you look at the crossovers, the one that I enjoyed most was the Titans and X-Men.
Yeah.
I thought that, to me, that had the most solid story. And
I think that, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the one that's been probably the most well received. Oh, yes. So I apologize. So go ahead.
Well, and then to me, the Batman Hulk was interesting. But the problem I do have with these crossovers is what universe are they in? Because they've already stated that DC has its universe, Marvel has its universe, they don't come across. But all of a sudden, we can do that. And because of that, it made me crazy. Because, like in Access, they're fighting one another, and I don't know where they are. Now I know that Metropolis is somewhat like New York City, and I would say Gotham is more like Boston, because you've got to remember that these two towns are close. So when they fight...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
No,
keep
go.
interrupting you, and I apologize.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I've always heard Gotham was New Jersey.
Gotham was what again?
New Jersey.
New-
New Jersey.
Really?
Yep. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's what I have read.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. Holy hell.
No, see, I took it as this story took place in Metropolis, and that Spider-Man and MJ were there for a play. But then when the two bosses meet together in a bar, it was kind of like I'm thinking they have to be close to be able to run into each other like that. Just my thought, though. And then the rest of it was in outer space.
Well, that solves your
that?
problem right there. Get away from Earth entirely.
Right.
Toss in time travel, and you got Mike hooked.
Okay.
And I did like the artwork.
Oh yeah. Ross is awesome. Ross Andrew is awesome.
And at the end of the one that I read, they showed how they collaborated on the covers. Kind of went back and forth till they got the final one. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yep. I enjoyed this. I remember when I went back and reread this, it took me back to when this first came out, and it was fun then. It was fun now. Yeah, some of it doesn't really make any sense, but you just kind of blow it off and just enjoy the ride. And yeah, the art's incredible. Ross was awesome. I mean, he did a long run on Spider-Man. I can't remember if he did one for Superman. I know he was on Wonder Woman for a long time too. He has been everywhere. But
And didn't he do some Warp comics for DC? Yeah, DC.
I think so. Yeah. Okay, Mike, let's hear your thoughts.
No. Well, I mean, my thing is that this is so far outside my wheelhouse that I'm not sure I have an opinion, to be honest. I mean, this is, not only am I not really that into superhero stuff, I'm not that into, I find it hard to, I would have a hard time sitting down to read this just on the idea that it just, on the surface, looks like a huge marketing ploy. I mean, honestly, and basically the negative side of what Liz was saying about how you're grabbing readers from other properties, and I'm like, if that's really what this is, then I don't see the benefit. I mean, I don't see the positive side of it, and I'm in hearing you guys describe it, I'm not hearing anything that interests me at all, to be honest. None of this stuff sounds good to me. I mean, other than the awesome art, I'm down for that, but I mean, the idea that you can't settle on a continuity for it, and there's not really any reason to do it other than to cross over both publishers' readers. I mean, it sounds like a cash grab to me, and I'm not interested, you know. Not to be not to crap on the whole thing, but it's not my deal.
But you did crap on it.
Well, I feel a little bad about that, but you know.
No, you don't. And that's okay.
I do a little.
Well, according to Wikipedia, which, take for what it's worth, it was originally pitched to to Stan Lee and to Carmen Infantino about doing actually a film crossover. But they abandoned that because they were already working on a Superman film and they were working on the Spider-Man TV show, live-action TV show at the time. So that's how it became a comic. So we almost got a movie out of this, which would really upset you, Mike.
I don't know if upset's the right word.
Well, anyway, if they decided to to kind of bring this back, is there any other characters you would like to see them do that with?
Good question.
I won't ask Mike because
I don't know. I keep running into the mix-ups they already did. I thought it was kind of weird for Superman and Spider-Man to be together. Seems like they would have gone with their super and went with like Captain America.
well,
About like their Superman.
well, you got to think back in the 70s, these were the characters for each other's companies. Superman was when you thought of DC Comics, you thought of Superman. If you thought about if you think about Marvel, it was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were the figureheads at that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cap's big resurgence came a little later.
Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of there the whole time, but he wasn't always the #1 guy. Spider-Man was always way more popular.
Yeah.
I personally, I would say that it's based more on the villains than it is the lead characters, just because people would realize who Dr. Octopus and Lex Luthor are, especially Luthor. And to me, that was the reason they paired those two together. When it was Batman, I was trying to remember who the villains were.
For the Batman Hulk,
Yes.
it was Joker and of all things, Shaper of Worlds.
Now, see, that wouldn't be a seller. For a first round, that would not be a seller at all. Because people would go, that makes no difference and no sense to me.
Well, I can see Joker, but man, who on the Hulk villains would you pick? I mean, the leader. I mean, I guess the leader, but God, I can't see the leader in the Joker.
See,
But that's who I would. That's about the only person I could think of.
See, that's the kicker with the Hulk, is that, I mean, he's always been his own villain.
True.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that he fits into that all that well. I mean, other than the inevitable fight between who would win between Batman and Hulk, I mean, there's not really any other point in doing it.
Well, you always get that we're on the same side. How do you get that with Hulk? Oh, Hulk smash. I mean,
right. Hulk's not on anybody's side.
With
That's the thing. Which is why he's kind of the villain of his own story.
Yeah.
I mean, he can be the hero and the villain because of the split. I mean, the Jekyll and Hyde thing. Because he's just ultimately a Jekyll and Hyde character anyway. But he's his own bad guy.
Unless Batman got to talk to Banner instead, I guess.
Right.
You know?
Batman, in order to put down the Hulk, finds a way to talk to Banner separately somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's hard to buy into, honestly.
I'll have to read that one and see how they did that.
It's been a long time since I read that one, so I can't remember how it went.
I couldn't tell you for sure either.
Yeah. I can't see appealing to his sensible side. You know?
Right. Kind of misses the point of Hulk to start with.
Yeah. Just communication, period, you know.
Yeah. Then you had the X-Men Teen Titans. You remember the villains for that piece, Les?
No, offhand I don't.
It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Darkseid and Phoenix.
Oh, that's a viable pairing there. Much better than what Batman Hulk had.
So you had a little time to think about it. What kind of pairing would you like?
Well, they've done Shadow and Batman. I would like to see. Well, in fact, they did a book of Shadow and Doc Savage. I would like to see Doc Savage and somebody, but then you've got to. I'm going to take it back to the years of Savage, so it's not going to just exude foibles and crap.
Okay. Liz, you thought of anybody?
No.
I would like to see a Batman Moon Knight.
Now, I chuckle. It's just that they're so. Well, Moon Knight is so based on Batman to begin with.
Well, considering the way he's been handled the last decade, I don't think so. I think, because he's dealing with the multiple personalities,
Yeah.
and dealing with insanity or lack thereof. It's really going to depend on who handles the story.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
No, I like the idea. It'd be nice to have something come out again. And they have done so much now, like you said, for Moon Knight, that you would be able to warp everything. So you could do multiple scenarios. Because I was looking at Doom Patrol on HBO Max, and this was not the Doom Patrol I knew. This is a much different version. So with that in mind, they could make changes to the pairings easily. And all of a sudden you've got, let's say, Harley and Punchline. And I'm not talking DC Punchline, I'm talking Punchline from, can't even remember the name of the company now. Something like that could probably garner, no pun intended, good stuff.
Yeah. It would be cool if it would be brought back, but man, both those companies are not the same. They're both. I mean, even then, DC was owned by Warner Brothers, but now the fact that Marvel's owned by Disney, it's going to have to go through so many freaking lawyers and all that kind of shit for something like that could happen again.
Yeah, they'd probably have to get clearance from ESPN too, so.
That's what they need to do is do it as like a softball game or something. Have all the Marvel heroes playing against the DC heroes in a softball game.
There you go. Yeah, but who's going to be the home team? They'll have to discuss that.
I think do like they did the World Series last year and do it in neutral city. Outer space.
Oh God.
It has to be. I mean, other than the whole gravity problem, but
And who have as an umpire? Franken What is it, Franken
Something from a different
Punisher?
universe.
Franken Punisher?
No, Jaws.
Jaws.
I was going to say
Yeah, have Richard Hill right there back behind him. Strike. Never mind. I was trying to do a Moonraker joke, but that kind of falls flat.
It didn't have legs.
Bump.
Because it's a fish. But anyway,
Mm.
comedy, folks, coming at you.
All right, any final thoughts before we wrap this up mercifully and move on?
No, other than it was pretty good. I liked it.
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm going to step out, and that's before your time, is it not?
I was a year old. Yep.
Well, you should have been thumbing through anyway.
Yeah.
I should have.
What the hell?
Damn it, Liz.
I couldn't read.
That's no excuse.
But there was pictures. You could have read it for the pictures.
I'm also glad that you liked it, Liz.
Thank you.
I will make it unanimous. And on that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with our weekly picks. And we're back. It is time for our weekly picks, and Les leads off this week.
Thank you, sir. My first choice comes from heavy metal. It's called Black Beacon Number 1. It's a story of an intergalactic space station that is supposedly bigger than our solar system. People are wanting to be taken there, to meet up, and it sounds like a utopia. But the main character, Nico, finds that the space station is a lawless area where everybody is out for themselves. So it's a tale of survival, truth, and experience. And hopefully Nico can figure out who to trust and what is going to go on. I like the sound of this one, and I've got a feeling it's going to run a pretty good length.
Cool.
Yep, I had spotted this one too.
Yeah, this one had been on my radar as well, so I'm glad you picked it. So,
Yep.
yeah, it should be interesting. Alrighty, Liz.
All right. For my first pick, I'm picking one called Stray Dogs. I don't know if we've recommended the first one. This is the second one. But by the end of the first one, it was kind of like, what the hell? It's told in the perspective of Sophie, who's a little dog. It's the first one started off, she's in a vet's office, and it almost seems like she's about to be put down. And they're explaining, dogs don't have memories. They just remember commands, but they can't remember what happened last week, which is bullshit. Dogs do. I really do think dogs retain memories. But the second one, we're going to get a little further into it, because at the end of the first one, Sophie was saying that this new place that she's in with these other dogs, that the owner killed her owner. She's seeing someone come in and grabbing her, and that's why she believes that she's here now in this new home and everything else. They say it's a murder mystery. What did they say? It was Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs. So
Wow.
I'm expecting the second. You're right. That's a very weird combo. Talking about mixing two genres. It's only a 5-part series, and this is the second one, so I'm pretty for sure we're going to get more to the, to what the story and what's happened to Sophie's owner. But I've been told if you're a pet owner, you have that special relationship with your pets, this may not be your story. And definitely don't buy it for your kids. So, yeah, I'm excited for this one.
But
and the
you're a
artwork
pet
is
owner.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've worked with rescue and I see the ugly side of pet owners too. So I'm taking it as a story kind of like them, the situations that these little dogs come from.
Right. And
So
you clearly have a connection to perverse stories anyway, and some.
right,
So
creepy cute.
you're good. I'm just giving you a hard time. Right. You like the creepy stuff, and if that won't creep you out, then I don't know what will. Jeez.
And it's cute because all of these little dogs in this story, there's like 14 of them. They look like they've been in Disney shows. Like you've got a Dalmatian who looks like one of the Dalmatians. There's Charlie from All Dogs Go to Heaven. You've got the Hound from Fox and the Hound. I mean, they all look like dogs that have been in Disney cartoons. It's kind of scary. You almost miss the story because you're trying to identify, where have I seen that dog before? I'll have to show y'all because, like I said, it's cute, but it's a cute story. I'm curious to see where this one goes.
Cool.
Sounds like fun.
Alrighty, Mikey.
Okie dokie. So my first pick is from Dark Horse. And I am picking Lady Baltimore, The Witch Queens, #1. I have to admit, what caught my eye on this one was the title, because I am familiar with the Baltimore series, and there is no Lady Baltimore. But I won't go too deep into this. They came at this in an interesting way. Basically, this is a young woman named Sophia who kind of became Lord Baltimore's assistant through, basically, he saved her town. And so this is a few years later, and basically the services are needed again, and so Sophia kind of picks up the mantle and takes over, which I think is a really fun idea. And I like I said, I've talked about Baltimore before, but if you don't remember, he would be like a Victorian era kind of adventurer, savior of the world type. If not in the world of Hellboy, because this is totally a Mignola thing. If not in the world of Hellboy, then certainly very much adjacent to it. Would have been in Hellboy's past, basically. Pre-Hellboy, before Hellboy. So I think this sounds pretty cool. I'm curious to see how they twist this into a fun Baltimore type story.
Yeah.
Nice. Alrighty, I am next, and for my first choice, I'm going first issue of a miniseries from Heavy Metal as well. It's called Cold Dead War. And this is actually an official sequel to the story that's in the Heavy Metal animated movie regarding the dead soldiers coming back to life. And this is about a team who is apparently this is right after the Battle of Midway, and an accident reanimates the soldiers that were on the island who've been murdered. So this should be really cool. I love that story. I love the movie, but that was such a cool story. So that this is actually an official follow-up to that, what is kind of caught my attention.
That is interesting.
It is.
That's
very nice.
One weird place to start a new story, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty, Les, you are up again.
My second choice is Teen Titans Academy #1 from DC Comics. The reason that drew me in was the fact that they've changed the Titans considerably. I was not reading Teen Titans prior to this one. In this new title, the Titans that were current are now the instructors for this academy. And in the academy, you have Shazam, an Australian speedster, 3-team Gotham expatriates obsessed with Batman, and the one that intrigues me most, the Deadly Red X. We don't know what Red X is, but this is a new form brought to you from the Infinite Frontier. So you're getting a new look at what's going to be going on, and I just like the idea of a new generation. Marvel has done that with Strange Academy. Mm-hmm. DC did it before with their school. I don't remember the name of the title, but this will be fun to read.
Will be.
Yeah, should be cool.
Sounds interesting.
Alrighty, Liz.
All right. For my second pick, it's a one-shot from Zenescope. It's Bell, Thunder of Gods. This one they don't give us a lot of background into. The only thing they really tell us is there's about to be a war in the underbelly of Philadelphia, which is kind of the area that she protects. It's her Gotham. And the weapon that's going to be used, I mean, honestly, it kind of looks like a hammer, so I wonder where they're going with that one. But like I said, one shot, it should be fast-paced. We should meet our villain pretty quick, who's the Thunder of Gods. So, should be pretty good. I mean, anything they throw Belle in, she's kicked ass, so. Yep.
Sounds like fun. It will be interesting to see how they...
Their take.
Yeah, how that translates. For sure.
Yeah. They're pretty good about twisting things, so.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Alrighty, Mike.
Okie dokie. My second pick is also from Dark Horse Comics. I didn't intend to pick two Dark Horse books this week, but there we are. This is a graphic novel called Earth Boy. And this is the story of a teenager named Benson who dreams of joining the Galactic Rangers. And so when he is selected to attend an elite academy, it will be an interesting. He will have an interesting time of it. He will get to figure out. Essentially, it's kind of high school, and two, it's a high school full of aliens, and he's the only human. So, needless to say, stress and anxiety, I'm sure, will ensue, and it will be interesting to see where the story goes and how Benson develops.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
Very cool. I'm up next, and for my second choice, it's a first issue of another miniseries, and it's being published by Second Sight Publishing. It's entitled Lady Freedom, and this is the story of Natalie Cloudrider, who is a sergeant in the U.S. Army, volunteers to be part of a freedom fighter program, and I guess she's given powers, and she's so she takes up the code name Lady Freedom. It could be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm always interested in trying to check out new hero universes, and this is actually being written by Arthur Belfield, who is a friend of the show. We've known him for a couple of years, so it's really cool that he's got a new book coming out, and the art is by Spike Gerald. So this should be pretty cool.
Fun.
Yep.
All right. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
Not me.
No.
I have a couple.
Okay.
It is also the 46th anniversary of the first appearance by the publication cover date for Crypto, the Superdog.
No.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And in a couple of months, I looked it up. Just one of those things that struck me is, I wonder who came first. Ace the Bat Hound has a cover of June of this year. So those two characters are now 45 years old.
Nice.
Wow.
Sweet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not 45, 55.
Oh,
55.
55. Okay. Well, that's okay then. I mean, if it was 45, that was going to be iffy. But I'm just thinking for dogs, that's really old, you know.
Trey
Yeah.
old.
Any other special shout-outs or mentions?
We are recording this on Pi Day,
That's true.
and I didn't even get any pie today.
I didn't either.
Does pizza count? It's a pizza pie.
It's a pizza pie.
I actually pitched that and was shot down, but so apparently,
I had
apparently
pizza
in my
pie,
house
so
it does not
I
count,
just-
but I wish it did.
No pie for you.
Apparently.
Go Pepsi.
Well, like you said, we're recording it on the 14th, and it will drop the 21st. The 24th is our 11th birthday. The fellowship's been around 11 years on March 24th.
Very nice.
Pretty cool.
Who keeps track of these things? Jeez.
We're hitting that precocious preteen year, so yeah, watch out, people.
Oh Lord.
Start to rebel.
Jesus, we're gonna be driving before you know it. You laugh. I have a 14-year-old at home.
I am laughing.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yes. I'm gonna be crying before it's all over, but who knows? It's fun.
All right, we will move on to our regular shout-outs. First, I want to thank Pop Goes Culture Podcast Network for allowing us to be part of a great group of fellow podcasters. And did you want to kind of plug the whole tournament that they're doing right now, Mikey? Because I know you've been part of it.
Oh yeah, they're doing a what's the term that doesn't involve the NCAA trademark?
Just a tournament.
They're doing
A bracket tournament. a bracket thing.
Yeah, that would be a really good term that really did not occur to me in that moment. But anyway, yeah, so they're doing a bracket in which there are Twitter polls set up, and what they are narrowing down to the best of is 90s movies. So I have been retweeting their tweets for the voting, for the polls, for the Twitter polls, and there's some really good movies in that list, of course, not surprisingly. having a whole decade to pick from makes it fairly easy. But there have been some interesting matchups. My understanding, for example, was that the matchup was between The Shawshank Redemption and Point Break. And last I heard, Point Break was running away with it for some reason. There's a bit of mystery behind that, but it's just the kind of thing. It depends on when you hit people and who you're hitting, I guess. So maybe their audience is really big on Point Break as a movie. I have never seen it, so I don't know. Shawshank Redemption.
The one with Keanu or
Keanu?
Keanu. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes, a young Studley Keanu.
Yeah. Very sweet.
So that's it's been fun. It is definitely, check it out, especially if you like 90s movies or you have a specific favorite. It's fun stuff. Hit my Twitter for that.
Cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Also want to thank the fine folks that make up Potter and Family on Twitter for spreading the word of the Fellowship podcast. Recommend that you go check them out. The easiest way to do that is go to Twitter after you check out Mike's feed. Just do a search, hashtag Potter and Family, all one word. And just scroll through the list, and whatever catches your attention, click on that link and download that episode, and hopefully you have a great time listening. Thank you guys always for your support. Want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying the music to the podcast. There will be a link in the show notes where you can check out some of their fine music. Thank you a lot, guys. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. We value your feedback. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, observations, what have you, by all means, send them our way. We'd love to hear from you. There are several ways you can do that. Our email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or you can go to the website, and there is a About Us page that you can go to, and there's a contact form there that you can fill out. Also, remind you that we do have the Discord. You can join us there. We do have a channel specifically set up for feedback, or you can just message us individually if you like. There's always social media. We're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. I would advise you that we're not really on Facebook that much, so if you go that route, there may be a little bit of a delay in us responding to you, but you can please go ahead and do that. Obviously, we're on Twitter @Fellowship Geeks. If you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mikey's already mentioned that he has one. It's @MikeyGeek. Liz can be found @LN_geek. Les may or may not be found @FakeLesWebster. And I can be found @TomTCGeek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you would please take a couple moments and rate and review our show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
We do appreciate your support. Thank you for listening. And until next time, geek on, my friend.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook @The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter @Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,